on, we go down to Andre with Carl Willis.
Carl, we're trying out new stuff this year with different shots. So if I get hit in the back of the head, Sandy said he's got our back, and we're going to be all right.
Well, better you than me. That's all I got to say.
After going through what we saw in September with the rotation, helping out the bullpen, just what does that do going now into this season? I know you can't go back to a six-man rotation, but how much did that help those guys in the back end of the bullpen?
Well, it was tremendous, especially coming off of 2024 when we leaned on them so much throughout the entirety of the season. I think we went to six-man last year. We saw guys get us through 6 innings, get us into the 7th, allowed Vody to use the guys where they're supposed to be used and fill in the spaces to get there on certain nights. And I think it's going to help our bullpen coming into this year.
When you look at, what Cade Smith was able to do, and you look at how many times he's pitched in the last 2 years, really you got 3 guys that have really thrown a lot. Will you be slower with those guys? It's kind of starting this year off?
Yeah, we're being slower, particularly with Cade and Gaddy. A little slower as well with Herron and Sobrowski, but with Cade and Gaddis, those guys have logged a lot of appearances now over the last 2 years, and did a very similar thing with them last year, and it worked. And so if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
Exactly. And I heard Matt just yell, "Whoa!"
That wasn't me.
Yeah, that wasn't you.
Nope.
That's the last thing we need to hear right now is whoa.
Watch it.
You didn't hear it, but I did. I jumped. We're all good. The other thing, when you look at all of these pitchers, and you start spring training off with the split squad game, what went through your mind when you realized you had to have this many arms ready for day one?
It made me think harder about being here, to be quite frank with you. It's a bit of a challenge, and guys aren't built up. However, it's a good opportunity here for these first 3-4 days to make sure that some of the younger guys are going to get an opportunity to pitch. It happens very quickly that starters start to get stretched out a little bit and the innings go away. So in that regard, it's good, but it is a bit nerve-wracking here the first day to have to cover 18 innings.
I know the people at home haven't seen this, but Gavin Williams, he walked in the room a couple days ago and instantly, everybody's in the best shape of their lives. There's that story in spring training. But Gavin looks like he's in the best shape of his life. What does a little success for a guy like that do in what you've seen in the past?
Well, it's a confidence builder, and I think particularly in the second half with Gavin, we all knew, and I think Gavin knew as well, that he can be very, very good and even be special and elite. But you kind of have to prove it to yourself, and it's hard to, really get your feet on the ground and understand how it is to be in the major leagues. All of a sudden, you hear, opposition, doesn't want to face you, changing things up on the day you pitch. And I think he just grew tremendously in his confidence and proved himself to himself, and now is challenging himself to take that next stop or that next step. And he put the work in.
How much does it help you to have him and Tanner? I don't want to say competing against each other because they're pulling the same way, but you know what I'm getting at. They've been drafted together, kind of moved up the ranks together, and both of them are top of the rotation type guys.
Yeah, I think those two guys have kind of pushed each other throughout our system, and that's the cool thing. We talked about a 6-man rotation at the end of the year. 5 of those 6. Are homegrown. They were drafted by Cleveland, came through our system together. They know each other. They watch each other. They watch each other improve, have success. And it means the world. Everyone says hitting is contagious, but pitching can be as well.
I know you don't want me to ask this question, but people that are back on the other side of that, they love you, and they're happy that you're back. And I know it's not about you. But for the people out there, what makes you want to come see these pitchers and be around these guys still?
It's 2 things, and these guys are number one. I mean, I love these guys. I love watching them compete. I love how they work. It's so much fun to watch them have success. And along with that, the people that I work for and work with are tremendous people from ownership all the way down. But, secondly, we talked about this a little bit the other day. When I come to Progressive Field, and I know the history of the game. I've been around for a little while now. I know how much it means to the fans in Cleveland. I want to be around as long as I am doing a job that, makes the organization feel like they want me here. I want to be here to see this thing through the finish line, and I want to ride in a parade in Cleveland, and that's what brings me back.
We'll put you in a train.
That'd be fine. I'll walk.
I'll walk with you. By the way, we just had an RBI double by David Fry. I know you're on the pitching side, but what's a guy like David Fry mean to this pitching staff? Like last year, couldn't throw, would go catch bullpens. Just the type of leader he is, the things that people on the other side don't see.
Yeah, it was tremendous. So David, obviously, he got back. He could DH. He couldn't catch, couldn't throw. He was working on his arm and getting his arm back. But yet he sat in our advanced meetings. He did homework and did work that Hedgie and Bo and our other catchers were doing throughout the season, and then sat in our meetings with the pitchers. And, he brought out information that, not that anyone missed, but we all see things differently, and he just continued to be a help, in that pitching side of the game, and that's huge for us.
A cool story that I kind of picked up on this week, we were asking everybody about Hedgie and just his effect. And a lot of players said, what Hedgie has done is that he's given Bo and David more of a voice. Is that fair to say?
It's absolutely fair to say. I think, we've seen a tremendous amount in both Bo and David, and obviously Bo, doing the bulk of the catching. I think it stands out even more. And you mentioned it, the voice. Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it, and the conviction that Bo can, communicate the information he wants to communicate just puts a lot of confidence in the pitchers.
Rick missed you.
Rick missed me. I miss Rick, too. And, last weekend of the season, he went on vacation. I don't know where he went, digging for bubbling crude down in Texas somewhere. I don't know what he was doing, but I'm glad he's here.
And on that note, you can walk away.
I went to see Dash Rip Rock.
Yeah, we appreciate you. I'm not telling him that right now.
Thanks, Andre, and thank you to Carl Willis. 2 down here in the 6th.